Cloud. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's Zoom. Tonight we'll be covering some education on fitness, some exercises that we can do from home, during this quarantine time and at any time. As we know, bodyweight exercises are actually harder than using some weights and some dumbbells and doing all of that. It's pretty remarkable the training sessions I've had on Zoom doing this. So there's a lot of things that we can do on our own to boost our metabolism, to increase our energy, our sleep, and do all that right here from home. So we'll go over that in a little bit. Just wanted to give a brief background on End Results, our gym, and Picture of Health, which is our nonprofit. End Results was started in 2001 by my partner, Curtis Mann, who you'll hear from in a minute. And at that point, we started training everybody in, the healthy space. And then we found out about a year later, once we started working with the cancer support community, that there was a much larger need in a space that was really unknown to anybody. At that time, the doctors were telling some of our survivors that we were trying to kill them. We're like, no, we're pretty sure that when you move and you increase your heart rate and you put the right foods in you, food is medicine. We've been preaching that for years. Our whole philosophy from day one has been from the inside out. We're not trying to look to buff people up. We're not trying to get you into the bikinis. We're not trying to get you into all that. That's on you. What we're trying to do from day one is educate you enough to put the right things into your body, to move more, to do things correctly. It's the fundamentals are everything. So once we start with your proper form, technique, and biomechanics of an exercise, from that you can build off of that. We see too many people trying to go the other way around and really trying to get them, these massive results in a short time. As Dr. Andrew will explain in a while, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And that's how you have to approach everything in your fitness life. And that's how we've always preached it since 2001, once we started this. 2002 is when Picture of Health, the concept got started. We became a 501c3 in 2012 or 13. Time flies. But it's been 7 or 8 years that we've been a 501c3. So tonight, we're actually going to be doing an ask as well and putting this out and sending it out to people, because we're looking to raise roughly $20,000 in a short period of time to expand these classes online, which we're ready to do now, the classes that we were doing for free for our survivors, as well as add new classes, which would be yoga, meditation, mindfulness, stretching classes. All of that will be paid and for discount or free to our cancer survivors. So this is kind of a two-part call. One is for our nonprofit, one is for our fitness facility. It all goes hand in hand. It's either the prevention of cancer and debilitating diseases, or if you have cancer and debilitating diseases, we don't discriminate. We're one of very few facilities that's been down this road and are experts in this space. We've been doing it for roughly 18 years. We have affiliations with 3 hospitals. We have over 100 oncologists in our local area that we have affiliated with. We are, arm in arm with a bunch of physical therapists. One trains right out of our facility, chiropractors, nutritionists, you name it. We have the best of the best of the best. And we've been trusted by all of the doctors in our area, as well as, a lot of the other specialty people in our area send people to us as we refer to them. So again, back in 2001, 2000-ish, when I met Curtis, it was like a brother from another mother. I mean, we have the same heart, we have the same generosity, we have the same giving, we have the same community outreach base, where it's not about us. we've known that from day one. It's about the community. It's about how many people we're able to help and change and shift their lives through diet and exercise, because we know that, again, without the basis of that, you're missing out on so much in life, and so many things can be shifted and changed just by a few simple concepts started at a young age. So we started actually in the schools, right up the street from our school, in the elementary schools. Then we got into the cancer. So my love for Curtis grew fast because it was all about giving back. It was all about community. And I'm a big sucker for someone who loves their mother as much as I do, and he does. And every man in my life that I'm close to has a very strong relationship with their mother, which I just realized not too long ago. So without further ado, what I want to do is play a very short video. This is going to show you a little bit of our class. It's only 1.5 minutes, and then we'll get into Curtis and Dr. Shao. Give me 1 second.
And there's still time to sign up for the More Than Pink Walk.
Maybe not. There we go.
I remember hold some of your hand to keep you stable, but now you're doing great. Excellent.
Tracy Atwood has seen a major improvement in her stability and, more importantly, her overall health.
I had really bad neuropathy with my chemo. My toes are numb. I'm learning to strengthen my core.
She and other cancer survivors taking a picture of fitness class, a class.
Move. Your body wants to move. In order to survive, you got to move.
Curtis Mann started the class at End Results, his health and fitness center in Torrance.
It really just has kind of changed my life because I can exercise again and it makes me feel good. The people that work here have been amazing.
Give me the strength I need because there was a time when I was in a wheelchair.
Verita Smith is battling stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. She says the class doesn't just provide physical strength.
We lift each other up, because people can see things from your perspective.
And what also makes this class so unique is that it's free for all of the cancer survivors.
Through a generous grant from Susan G. Komen. Bring your hands here and just give me a shoulder press, okay? Nobody's turned down. And they can come, it doesn't matter what condition they're in, doesn't matter what stage of treatment they're in.
And I feel stronger and happier, and it makes me feel good to be around people that have gone through what I've gone through. I just feel better.
In Torrance, Amy Johnson, CBS 2 News.
And there's still time to sign up for the More Than Pink Walk. Just go to our website, cbsla.com, and click Seen on TV for a link to register.
Sorry, people. All right, give me 1 second here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my partner. Like I said before, this man is a brother to me of 20 years. He has more passion, more heart, more experience, more knowledge in the fitness space, especially in the specialty fitness with cancer survivors, heart disease, diabetes, you name it in the specialty arena. There is not another trainer on this planet that knows more than my partner Curtis, and he does talks at Torrance Memorial, he does them at Little Company of Mary, he does them at all the major hospitals in our area with all the top oncologists learning from him. So without further ado, take it over, Curtis.
All right, Dominic, thank you, my man. As Dominic said, we're brothers. We're brothers in the love of people, in the love of helping people get healthy. And then on a personal level, Dom and I are just very, very close. And so what I want to do tonight, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of our friends, participants, And then new friends and new family members out there are joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight. So what I want to do is I want to talk first of all about End Results Health and Wellness, because there's a lot of new people that are on right now that may not even have heard of End Results Health and Wellness, may not know who we are, what we do, and then I'll segue into Picture of Health. So End Results Health and Wellness is a group of healthcare professionals that focus on preventing disease and helping people who have chronic disease improve their quality of life, utilizing the applied science of exercise, nutrition, and wellness. Our nonprofit Picture of Health is an extension of that mission to help those who are impacted by chronic disease regain their health, wellness, fitness, and help restore them back to physical function at no cost to them. And in a little while, you'll hear from some of our former survivors who are thrivers now, okay? Because we call people at our facility thrivers. End Results Health and Wellness and Picture of Health are ideas as much as we are top-notch medical fitness programs, processes, and systems. So when I met Dom 20 years ago, we were both working at another gym. And I said to Dom, I've got an idea of how to work with people and make them healthier. And I want to share those ideas with you. And he sat down with me and we talked. And I said, Dom, I've got an idea of bridging doctors and therapists and other healthcare professionals to the most professional and skillful personal trainers in the industry. Today, as Dom mentioned, we've got hundreds of oncologists, cardiologists, therapists, and other healthcare professionals that trust us in taking care of their clients, and they refer people to us. We had an idea of helping those people who have chronic debilitating ailments and people who have physical injuries obtain the best possible outcome of recovery and restoration utilizing the applied science of exercise and nutrition, because it is a science. So based on a person's ailment, based on their treatment, based on surgeries that they may have had, there are specific exercises that help them recover much quicker and give them a better outcome. We had the idea of having a healthy community and providing health and wellness educational programs free of charge, like the one we're having this night. So we went into the schools and we started working with children and we started working with their parents, and we've improved test scores. And along the way, we built an incredible community that comes to us for health and wellness. So these ideas help to drive and inspire End Results and Picture of Health, and gives us a sense of purpose of helping people live a better quality of life. This is why it's so important that we continue to provide the best services and information on how to stay healthy and well, especially since we're all staying at home. So I'll reiterate it again about Picture of Health, because our overall goals and purposes are to improve the health, fitness, wellness, and quality of life of our survivor participants by instructing, encouraging, and motivating them to exercise both during treatment and post-treatment. So our programs include strength training or resistance training. It includes balance and stability training, because some treatments, such as chemotherapy, can throw off a person's balance. We have flexibility training, cardiovascular training, and nutritional guidance. And thanks to Dr. Shao, he's going to go over some tips on ways and foods that will help boost your immune system. So Picture of Health provides services through our business End Results. such as recovery group classes that we kind of individualize for a person as they're going through the group program. It provides the staffing that we need to be able to help people that have chronic disease and injuries. Your donations tonight will provide wellness coaching. You know, it's surprising to say that in all the anguish and dismay, there is a silver lining in this, because 20 years ago, Dom and I had talked about having our programs nationwide, but Zoom didn't exist 20 years ago. And today that can be possible. We can hold Zoom health and wellness programs to help teach people how to prevent disease and help those who have chronic disease with your donation dollars. Your donation will also help us to develop online exercise fitness seminars that can be viewed worldwide, which was our inspiration when we first started, is to be able to branch out and help many people. And it'll also help us to develop strategies to promote healthy aging. You know, in this day and age of Corona, the most vulnerable are people who have chronic diseases, people who have ailments that require different types of situations. Our facility has always been a clean facility, and now that emphasis is much more important. And so what we want to encourage again is for you to donate so that we can reach out to more of you. We know that there's more people out there that have chronic diseases and have chronic injuries that just don't know how to get past them. And fortunately, over the last 20 years, pairing with doctors and other medical practitioners, we've developed that expertise. So please remember that your donations are tax deductible, and we'll provide you with that information. So what I'd like to do right now is to introduce two of our thrivers, Tara Shao and also Bernadette Franco, and they want to share their experiences at End Results and Picture of Health. So I'll mute, and Tara, you're on.
Okay, thanks, Curtis. I love these guys, and I love the program, and I had some thoughts that I wanted to say tonight, but I need to start by saying that this has absolutely changed my life. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in January 2018 and had kind of a typical, I guess, treatment plan. I went through chemotherapy, I had surgery, radiation, and started medication 18 months ago, which is going to be about a 10-year course. At the time I was starting radiation, my oncologist, I was lucky enough that my oncologist actually prescribed exercise. He just said, find somebody who can put together a program so you can put on some muscle and get healthy, and kind of left me like that. I was really fortunate to have somebody on my medical team who introduced me to Curtis and Results and Picture of Health. And I'm forever in that woman's debt. When I first met Curtis, the first thing that I noticed was, like you've heard tonight, how generous his heart is, how kind he is. The knowledge that he has working with people who have gone through cancer, it's just incredible. I don't think that is a skill set that anybody can have. What he didn't mention, but I learned later on, is that the trainers at this gym all have special certification to work with cancer survivors. So he really has an understanding of what I was coming in with, having gone through chemo, about to go under radiation, my surgery. He knew my limitations, and he was able to help tailor things for me. So over the course of about 18 months now, I've been working out with Curtis and the team there. When I started the Picture of Health program and went to the Fit and Well Worth It class, I was actually a little apprehensive. I wasn't sure what I was walking into. I thought, a class full of people with cancer, this is not what I want to do. I just want to go and I want to work out and I want to get strong again. And I was absolutely shocked that the first time I went, I came home all excited because I felt like I was with this group of people who totally understood what I had been through and what I was going through. I even exchanged phone numbers with some of the people I met just that first day, and I still keep in touch with some of them. So for me, it was really not just about the physical benefits, but the support and the community that Curtis and Dom and his whole team have created through this program and at that gym. I've never experienced anything like that. The other thing is, for me, the medication that I take has side effects, don't they all? And really bad joint pain and muscle pain. And some days it's hard to get up. And what I have learned is that if I do not exercise, it hurts. I can't get up off the couch. If I exercise, I don't even feel it. So that's a huge motivation for me, and it keeps me going to the gym. And the other thing that keeps me going to the gym is the community that they have created there. You know everybody, whether they came through this program or they're somebody healthy and a sports enthusiast, they're all so friendly, they're all so welcoming, they all encourage you, they all motivate you. And now I have this team of really strong women that I love working out with. And, you know, if you're not going to be there, man, they'll text you and say, you better get your butt to the gym today. So it holds me accountable, and they've completely changed my life. And if there's anything that I could do now, it would be to get the word out. And every person who has had a chronic illness or gone through cancer or is going through cancer, they all deserve to have a program like this, because they've completely changed my life. And I love you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Tara. And we love you too. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Bernadette Franco. I'm gonna date myself. You know, whenever I think of Bernadette, I think of Bernadette Peters. For you young people who don't know who she is, she's an actress. And she hasn't been in movies in a very long time. So anyway, Bernadette.
Okay, you cut out there a little bit, but I'm hoping I can go. So hi, my name is Bernadette Franco, and I'm a member of End Results Health and Wellness Center.
Dr. Andrew Shao. Dr. Shao holds a doctorate in nutritional biochemistry and a master's in human nutrition science, both from Tufts University, and a bachelor's in biology from Brandeis University. He's the senior vice president and global scientific and regulatory affairs for Chromodex, and he'll explain what that company does. And at Chromodex, he oversees the scientific, technical, research and development, regulatory and quality functions for the company. So without further interruptions and further ado, I introduce you to Dr. Andrew Shao. You'll have to unmute your mic.
Yep, I got it. Well, thank you, Curtis. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hopefully we've returned from that rude interruption, and now we're ready to liven up our evening here with some basic information. I'm not going to present anything probably most of you don't already know, but I'll stick to some basic themes that actually a lot of people find difficult. It's simple to understand, but not easy to implement. So I'm going to avoid a lot of being too prescriptive. As you'll see, I'm not going to be too prescriptive. You know, what you should use and what you should take and how much you should take and so on and so forth. Well, it really depends. That's my answer if you ask me. It really depends. It depends on your situation. It depends on what your diet is. It depends on what your goals are. So I'm not particularly prescriptive, and hopefully we'll leave some time for questions at the end. So here are some basics. Hold on, I'm gonna shrink the video screen here. Here are some basics for you, and I'll go through most of these in the coming slides. For those of you who are joining us on an iPhone, you may need to kind of get real close to the phone to see all the slides here. But I think, as Dom alluded to earlier, good nutrition is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And the sooner you kind of come to grips with that reality, I think the sooner you can start making great progress. And to go along with that, extremes usually don't make sense. And I kind of put asterisks there. When I say extremes, I mean, you know, completely avoiding certain foods or solely focusing on certain foods usually doesn't make sense. And I say usually because, you know, there are exceptions. If you are coping with a condition, something like diabetes or some other type of condition where you really do need to avoid certain foods, you know, that would be an exception. But for most of us, extremes typically don't make sense. And I'll explain a little bit more why I say that. You hear it all the time, everything in moderation, but really, it really rings true. Too much of anything can be harmful. So you may know that too much water can be toxic. And you would think, well, if anything is benign, is completely safe, it's water. But actually, water can be toxic too. So too much of anything really can be harmful. And too little of some things, of course, isn't good for you either. So in general, really having everything in moderation, whether it be food or other things in your life, really makes sense. As you'll see, I'm a big proponent of a colorful diet. The more color in your diet, in the foods you consume, the more plants you consume, the better. I'll have a few words about, you know, doing what you can to avoid relying on food for comfort, and stay active. I'll have a couple of comments around that, kind of echoing what you've already heard from Dom and Curtis. So it's a marathon, not a sprint, as we keep saying. You know, now while you're all at home, you're all quarantined, you're not going out to restaurants. Maybe you're ordering takeout on occasion, but I think if you're like us, we find ourselves cooking, you know, more often now. We already always did cook a lot, but we find ourselves cooking even more. You know, now's the time to incorporate healthy choices into your routine and make it a permanent choice. Fad or prescription diets really, with some, you know, some exceptions, really don't set you up for long-term success. And what I have here on the left side is a little icon from a TED Talk. It's a brief talk. Do fad diets work? I encourage you to take a look at it. And one of the messages that it has in there about fad diets, pick your diet. I mean, you know, if there's a food out there, whether it's grapefruit or whatever it is, there's probably a fad diet around it. You know, there's other diets, medically prescribed diets like the keto diet can be useful for some people for some period of time. But the real reason why fad or prescription diets don't set you up for long-term success is because you can't comply with them in the long term. Any of you who have been through this, some of you have heard me say this before, many times. You get on the wagon, you fall off the wagon, try to get on and you fall off the wagon, and it's because you can't stick to these fad diets. They're not sustainable. And what you want to do is you want to choose something that is sustainable for you over time, because that's where you're going to see results over time. Extreme avoidance, extreme indulgence is generally not sustainable. Forcing yourself to completely abstain from foods you enjoy is not sustainable, nor is it sustainable to choose something because of some crazy diet that you're just going to eat all the time. Well, you could probably stick to it for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, but in general, it's not sustainable. And any of you who have tried this know this from experience. What you really want to do is make small, incremental changes that you can stick to over time, because that's where you'll see results. And just like the name of End Results, it's the results that will motivate you to keep going. Once you see results and you can stick to the regimen, you will continue to adhere to it over the course of time. Okay? So I'll credit my wife, Tara, who for getting me into this, but we are diehard Skinny Taste fans. And, you know, there's all sorts of recipe books out there. But what we really love about this is that it teaches you the ways of cooking really delicious food and really delicious meals that are lower on the calorie side, lower on the saturated fat side, lower on the refined carbohydrate side. Whatever it is you enjoy eating, take advantage of this opportunity now where we're all sort of sequestered at home to experiment, to try new recipes, new healthy recipes. And we're big proponents of Skinny Taste. We use the recipes all the time. And you can see just from looking at this picture here that there are some wonderfully delicious and also very, very healthy foods that you can choose. And it's actually a lot of fun to cook this way as well. Okay, now to color. So lots of research shows that mostly plant-based diets, and what I mean by mostly plant-based diets is the source of protein that you choose is more plant than animal. Again, I'm not going to say avoid animal products. I'm not saying that because we don't want to really avoid, you know, anything completely unless, again, there's extenuating circumstances. But mostly plant-based diets are best for long-term health. And the more color, the better. So here is a book that I recommend everybody go out and read. It's from a colleague and a good friend of mine, Dr. David Heber, who is still a professor at UCLA. He's had maybe close to a 50-year career as one of the world's most respected, most renowned nutrition research experts. He wrote this book, What Color is Your Diet? And you can see I've circled here, strengthen your immunity. It turns out that a lot of the phytonutrients, a lot of the vitamins that are in all of these wonderful, colorful fruits and vegetables, right? Not only do they help to protect you against chronic diseases, including cancer, but they also help to strengthen your immune system. There's a number of essential nutrients and also phytonutrients that are very important for your proper immune function. And you can find all of them and more packed in all of these wonderful fruits and vegetables. Preferably fresh. If you have access to it, if you're fortunate enough to have access to these, highly recommend consuming. The more color, the better. And consider going out and purchasing this book that Dr. Heber co-wrote. It's a great and a wonderful resource. Okay, so choose wisely. When you're choosing your foods and your protein sources, try to choose lean protein sources. You can see some examples in some of the slides here. Lean meats, poultry, fish. When you do consume carbohydrates, it's always best to consume whole grains. Some of you may have aversions to wheat. There are other options of whole grains other than wheat. And healthy fats are critical. And you can see up here, you have an image of foods that have lots of different healthy fats. Fatty fish, nuts, avocados, and of course olive oil are all wonderful sources of healthy fats. Dairy is also important for those of you who can tolerate it. Dairy foods are a good source of protein and minerals like iron. And just be aware of hidden sugars, okay? The American diet, typical American diet contains much more added sugars than we really need. What's considered normal for a lot of Americans is actually pretty excessive, and beware because they can be hidden. You can see here they're hidden in juices, they're hidden in sauces, right? Certain yogurts can be very high in sugar as well. You know, if you're really interested in juice, have a piece of fruit. Maybe skip the juice and have a piece of fruit instead. Moderation is key, as I mentioned. If you enjoy drinking juice, if you want to have a slice of pizza, have a slice of pizza. You don't need to eat the whole pizza, right? Have a slice of pizza. You don't need to have pizza every single night. Maybe have pizza once a week. Don't avoid it. You notice I don't say to avoid. I said to use moderation. If you try to avoid these things altogether, unless you have to, someone with diabetes, for example, unless you have to avoid them, if you try to practice, if you try to force yourself to avoid these things, it's not sustainable. Okay, so let's get into some of the science, because of course I'm a scientist by training. Here's a list of some key nutrients to look for that are very important for immunity, and some of these you've heard of already, probably not news to you. As I said, I'm not talking about doses here, because what dose or what product you should use, it's really specific to you. It really ought to be personalized to you. But these are just a list of some important ones for to support your immune function. Vitamin C, of course, vitamin D, I'll talk a little bit more in a moment, vitamin E as well, zinc, and carotenoids. And carotenoids, for those of you who don't know, are some of those phytochemicals that give those fruits and vegetables lots of their color. Ones like lutein, right, in green leafy vegetables, lycopene in tomatoes, beta-carotene in carrots, all important for the immune system. Other ones to consider are healthy fats from fatty fish, for example, probiotics from low-fat, low-sugar yogurt, or supplements, and then there's prebiotics, which are also found in a lot of fiber supplements. But if I could, for a minute, kind of point your attention over to here to one of the publications that I shared. This one is entitled, it's a scientific publication, peer-reviewed publication, evidence that vitamin D supplementation could reduce the risk of influenza and COVID-19 infections and deaths. So that's pretty compelling. There's a tremendous amount of research out there that shows how important vitamin D is in maintaining normal vitamin D status in order to have optimal immune function. It's no surprise, I think, for you that the individuals you're hearing about that seem to be most susceptible to COVID-19 and suffer the greatest consequences of COVID-19 also tend to be the ones that have low vitamin D levels. So maintaining your vitamin D status is critical. And the thing about vitamin D is it's very difficult to obtain in the diet. You can find it in decent amounts in fatty fish, like salmon, for example. But if you're not a fish lover, and you don't spend too much time in the sun, you know, even in Southern California, we practice sun avoidance for obvious reasons, because there's a high risk for skin cancer. So that makes sense to practice sun avoidance. But if you do practice sun avoidance and you don't eat a lot of fish, you're not getting a lot of vitamin D in your diet. On top of that, if you happen to be dark-skinned, then your skin's ability to produce vitamin D from the sun is a little bit less. So really, supplementation with vitamin D becomes very critical, particularly to support the immune system. Also, vitamin E. This is an article written by a former colleague of mine who is still at Tufts University, Dr. Maidani. She is an immunologist and a researcher there at the Research Center on Aging at Tufts. She's published a lot of research that shows that vitamin E supplementation is important to help reduce the risk of upper respiratory tract infections, especially in older adults. You can get vitamin E from a lot of different sources, especially healthy fats. So if you eat a lot of nuts, you're getting plenty of vitamin E. But if you don't eat a lot of nuts, a vitamin E supplement could make sense for you. Okay, now I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about my company's product, and it's called True Niagen. Here it is right here. It comes in a bottle with capsules, and also as a stick pack, you can see here. And it has one ingredient in it, and this is the name of the ingredient. It's called nicotinamide riboside, which is a unique form of vitamin B3. Here are some of the benefits it provides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through our website. If you can all see that. So basically what this compound does is helps to support your cellular defense and resilience. So here's a little bit of information around why cellular health is so important. You have trillions of cells in your body, and so the health of your cells goes, so goes the health of your body. And this is a supplement that helps to support the health of your cells. Now, we all go through a variety of stresses, whether it's poor diet, sleep deprivation, overindulging in alcohol, not exercising enough, or it turns out also viral infection can reduce our cellular health. And how does it do that? Your cellular health is dependent on a molecule called NAD. And when your body gets exposed to these stresses here, it results in a decline of this molecule. And what is NAD? It's an important coenzyme that helps your cells stay resilient, it helps their defense, and it helps them repair themselves in the face of a stress. You can see what happens when your body is faced with a stress like a viral infection. The NAD levels in cells get depleted drastically. Okay? So, what our product does is increases the NAD levels in your cells and in your tissues. And that's how it helps to support cellular health. Here is our Chief Scientific Advisor, Dr. Charles Brenner from the University of Iowa, and some of his comments on how powerful nicotinamide riboside, or True Niagen, is at raising NAD levels, and how it helps to restore balance in the face of metabolic and many other types of stress, including immune stress. So the product helps to maintain cellular resilience by promoting cellular repair, metabolism, and increasing cellular energy. And there's a couple of people who have joined us here who actually are users. Myself, of course. Tara is a user, and my in-laws, who are also joining us on this Zoom, are also users, and if we have time, they could probably give you testimonials on what their experience has been with the product. So I encourage you to visit this website, TrueNiagen.com, to get more information. Okay, we're wrapping up here. So I thought in talking about supplements, I might provide some advice on how to choose supplements. So as the name implies, dietary supplements are intended to supplement the diet, not substitute for a healthy diet. That's important to remember. There's no supplement that's a magic bullet. Remember the words supplement are to supplement the diet, not substitute for a healthy diet. When you're choosing supplements, choose brands you know and trust, and consider some of these third-party certifications. I've put some of the logos here. UL, NSF, USP are some of the well-known, well-respected, well-accepted third-party certifiers. Look for their logos on products. What they do is it's like an added seal of quality. It's an added check that they provide to help assure, the quality and consistency of the products. Now, if it's too good to be true, just like a fad diet, if it's over-promising, if it's promising quick, fast results with little or no work, that's too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, it is. Avoid those products, okay? Some useful resources for information on supplements. This is a good resource for those of you who are interested in learning more. NIH, National Institutes of Health, where our friend Dr. Fauci is from. They have an Office of Dietary Supplements there at NIH, and they're a great resource. I found WebMD to be a reasonable resource for consumers to go for information on dietary supplements. And I think particularly if you are coping with a condition, that you must maintain a dialogue with your healthcare professional. Don't make decisions about using supplements, either stopping or starting, without having a dialogue. And it isn't necessarily to seek permission, it's more to keep everybody informed, because a lot of the medications you might be on could possibly interact with different supplements, depending on what they are. So it's just always important to maintain a dialogue with your healthcare professional regarding your dietary supplement use, even if they don't ask you. Some, hopefully, all will ask you. Some may not. Even if they don't, you should maintain a healthy dialogue. Food for comfort. Enjoy your food. Try not to lean on it for emotional support. You could see this cartoon here. Looks like this gentleman is searching for comfort food. Try, and I know it's difficult, I understand it's difficult, but try to turn to family, to friends, to hobbies, to pets, etc. for emotional support, particularly during these challenging times where you may be faced with a double whammy of being quarantined and having to deal with a chronic condition. I mean, that's not easy. Try not to turn to food. Food is not your crutch. It really isn't. It will let you down if you deal with food in that way. Try to lean on family, on friends, or others. And thankfully, you have support groups like what End Results provides, where you can lean on your peers to stay accountable, but also for that emotional support. Practice mindful eating. And this is a little This is a little cartoon on mindful eating. Be aware of what you're eating. Be in the moment, right? Savor every bite. Know what you're eating. Don't just eat mindlessly. That's why it's called mindful eating. Encourage you to visit this website to get more information on how to eat mindfully. Staying active is key. Just a couple of things here, and then we'll be done. You can see here, this is sort of a generic figure here on the left, but in this case, it's a summary, a chapter in a book that's showing how the risk of upper respiratory tract infections declines with moderate exercise, and you can worsen your immune function if you over-exercise. But you can see here there's kind of a sweet spot where your immune function and your risk of upper respiratory tract infection is at your immune function peaks, and the respiratory infection is at its lowest level around this area of moderate exercise, regular moderate exercise. Similarly, you can see how exercise helps your mental state. So this was a study done a couple of years ago, actually more than a couple of years ago, but it's a study done that shows that regular exercise resulted in lower scores of depression compared to controls. So these are just a couple of examples to say how important it is to stay active. And you have a resource here. You've just heard about the great resource at End Results. I would add that there are actual studies that have been conducted where I used to work at Herbalife. They have a similar model. It's aimed at weight loss, but it's a similar peer group kind of model. And they actually studied it and showed that those folks are more healthy, and they also perceive themselves as being more healthy compared to controls. And so there's actual research out there that shows these peer support groups help each other with respect to diet and exercise and actually improve their health compared to controls. So that's it for me. I'll stop sharing and see if there's any questions.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
The product that you're promoting, does one see a change in their health within a certain time frame or through blood work? How do you know that it's actually helping and working?
Good question. So the product takes several weeks. Once you start supplementing it on a daily basis, it takes several weeks for it to increase your body's NAD levels. The effects that people feel are different. Some people feel more mental sharpness. Some people feel like they have more energy. Those effects are a little bit different for different people. Some people feel they sleep better. This molecule that's important in all of your cells, NAD, is very important in regulating energy, circadian rhythms. If you know what circadian rhythms are, those are the rhythms that kind of your biological clock gets you to go to sleep and wake up every night, and that's wake up every morning. And it's also important for neurological function. So that helps explain why different folks experience these different effects. The time ranges from maybe weeks up to a few months of supplementation before effects are realized. But there are others who actually use the product who might be able to tell you, also what they've experienced. Yeah.
Hi. I take the product. I'm 72 and a half years old. I'm Andrew's mother-in-law, and he was taking it and he was feeling great when he started working at this company. And so my husband, who always, he just knows that Andrew is smart, said, we want some too. And he asked him how we could get some. And we actually buy it on Amazon.com. It's easy to get. And I'm 72 and a half. I'm 5'1". I'm overweight and have been all my life. So this is a 5'1" older woman who's a good 30, 40 pounds, overweight. I have energy. I'm at the age, Tara, my daughter Tara had breast cancer a year and a half ago. And she used to kind of roll her eyes at me with her family when I couldn't remember things and things like that because I'm getting older. Well, now that she has chemo brain, she also was being forgetful also. Since I started taking the Niagen, I can't believe that sounds like a commercial. In a couple of weeks, I started thinking clearer, and I'm happy. I wasn't a sad person, but I'm happy. I have energy. I sleep through the night. I actually wake up with this feeling of joy in my body and have this energy. Now, I've got a 70-year-old sister in New York who has been depressed her whole life. And when I told her about it, she started taking it as well. And she even, who is negative Nelly, she even feels good and is taking it now. So I don't know, Tara, was it, because my mind isn't always that clear. So it's my mind is better. And, I'm thinking, the energy and the thinking more clearly. For me, it's wonderful,
Yeah, I can say that I have to ask my oncologist before I can take anything. And my oncologist is extremely conservative. I'm not allowed to even take a multivitamin. There's just a few supplements that he allows me to take. And he actually knows one of the researchers and said yes immediately. And he himself now takes it, my doctor and his wife. But for me, it has helped me with the chemo brain. I could not think clearly. I was so frustrated. I'm 46, so I was not ready to have that inability to have a conversation. And honestly, within a few weeks of taking it, I felt like I could hold a conversation, not feel stupid because I couldn't hold a conversation, and my energy for my workouts and things has really improved. So.
Awesome. Anybody else have any more questions or as far as the supplement goes or anything for Andrew at this point? Everybody's good. Okay, so now I just want to talk a little bit about, thank you, Andrew. Amazing information. I mean, seriously, it's like, we could do a talk like this every week or two or however long. I mean, it's just, there's so much to go into and there's so much detailed but simple, like Andrew, when we were talking before, like nutrition does not have to be complicated. We complicate as a human race, everything, so getting back to the simplicity of it and break it back down to the real food is possible and having the minimal amount of ingredients is possible in a food. When you start reading the back of a label and it's 50 different ingredients long and you can't pronounce anything past sugar, it's don't eat it. Don't eat it. I've been schooled many of times by different nutritionists or healthcare professionals that talk about this, and they say when you go into a supermarket or a grocery store, whatever you call them, wherever you're at, we got people in here from Canada, Florida, wherever, go on the perimeter, stay out of the inside. Right. Stay out of the inside. The perimeter is everything that you need. Everything on the inside, is packaged or something loaded full of something to keep it on that shelf for a long time. And the second one was, if you think about your great-great-grandparents, if they can't recognize it, don't eat it. Simple, right? This is just simple stuff. So we all get, like Andrew said about all these different diets that are out there. They're on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon. It's confusing, and I teach and preach from day one of training was, and then what? You're on this diet, and then what? I'm doing P90X or whatever, some crazy workout, and then what? What is your plan past whatever that time period is? I'm not saying any of these diets or any of these systems are bad, but you need to have a system or a plan after that if you don't want to eat, like Andrew says, eat the rainbow. You know, make moderate choices when you do have pizza, or you do have chicken wings, or you do have burritos, or you do have fries or chips or soda, like Curtis was saying. You know, during the quarantine, everybody gets into this, you know, space of like, poor me, this and that. At some point, it might be in the beginning, the middle, or the end of this, everyone goes through it. Have it. Have a little bit of it. Let it go, you know. Don't buy it. Don't have it in your cupboard. Don't have it laying around. Your brain knows that it's in the cupboard. Your brain knows that there's more ice cream in the freezer. Your brain, it just knows. As soon as you have it, until it's gone, you are going to be fighting that. So the best thing you can do is get it out of your house. I know some people it's hard to do because they have kids and, oh, my kids love it. And we fall into the same thing here in my house. Like, oh, well, they love this or that. Well, when ice cream's in the house, full disclosure, that's one of my weaknesses. It just is, you know. We all have the same, you know, we have the same tendencies and the same urges and the same fights and the same demons and the same, you know, the same devils that are out there. We're not excluded just because we are healthcare professionals. We have to battle the same things. We have just learned how to combat and how to shorten that time frame of, you know, when we have to, okay, back on track. So the faster you can get back on track or get on track from the beginning, you know, you're going to set yourself up for success. So I think we should probably do another Zoom for the exercise program, you know, we'll go over some more exercises. We'll get some, you know, other people on here to show exercises. One thing we'll tell you about, I can do it real quick and share my screen again, and just to show people how to donate to Picture of Health. You can do it right through our End Results. EndResultsFitness.com is our website. Here's our website. And if you just scroll down a little ways past, you'll see our Picture of Health logo right here, and right there's a donate button, you know, right here. And again, any amount of donations helps. Everything that we do, all the money goes back into our program to support, you know, these lovely ladies. And we do have some gentlemen that have been through our program. It's not just for ladies. And on that note, there's a lady that should be here tonight. Her name is Susie Obramowitz. She's been through our program for a few years now. She passed away today. Hours before this call, she was actually an integral part of getting this Zoom and everything connected, and she's been working with Curtis for some time. She's actually a rocket scientist. So to show that what we're dealing with here from day one, it does not discriminate. We've had, you know, someone as young as around 22, 23-year-old lady came into our program years back, you know, to people that are worth, you know, tons of money, to young, old, white, black, green, Chinese. It does not matter. Disease is disease. So during this time right now of Corona, the biggest thing that I've seen and heard and across the whole platform, get yourself as healthy as humanly possible. You want to stay healthy? Take care of it now. Don't wait. Susie, the lady that I just told you who passed away, is maybe 50, 51. We have another gal, when I was telling my wife that we just lost somebody earlier today, because she obviously saw I was upset. And she asked, oh, was it the younger lady, Victoria? We have another lady who's, I mean, these are just, she's maybe 45, 46. She's about 3-4 times cancer survivor. And she's been through our program. She's at our gym on the stair mill, getting chemo on the stair mill. She has a port while she's doing. So again, these are all perspectives, okay? This isn't to get anybody upset, you know, to ruin your night or anything. This is a perspective. This is to show you take every single day, every breath for granted. Get up every day and thank the Lord. When you go to bed, thank him too, that he put you to bed and he woke you up. Because there's no guarantee for tonight, for tomorrow, okay? So just remember that every little thing that we do here through our program, any donations that anybody makes is going into the program. Everything that we do from today forward, from the day that I met Curtis, is to better people's lives. Is to inspire and then show people that anything can happen, you know, positive. You can change everything and anything that you want to do through starting with this and just starting. It doesn't have to be massive. Again, Dr. Andrew said before, I said it earlier, this is a marathon, not a sprint, meaning you can't get the results overnight that you want. It takes a long time. It takes commitment. It takes frequency and consistency of a healthy nutrition program, healthier lifestyle choices, and over the course of time, you know, you need to eliminate some people in your life that are causing you a lot of stress and a lot of things in your life that are causing you stress, which most of them are CNN, NBC, ABC, watching the news and doing all of that. Get the news out of your life and watch what it does to your life. Okay? Don't get caught into that whole, you know, watching the news to see what's going on next, and miss your whole life. Okay? This is about making lifestyle changes, little steps at a time, adding some color into your diet, moving some more, you know, getting a friend, like they said, turn to a friend, turn to a pet, turn to someone who loves you. Don't turn to food. Don't turn to booze. Don't turn to, you know, all the prescription drugs that these doctors will write you. They will give you whatever you want. If you say I need sleep pills, you'll get sleep pills. If you say I need pain pills, I get pain pills. Do this through nutrition and exercise. I can guarantee you, I've seen it change people's lives for 20 years now, all through nutrition and exercise. And this, obviously. But if you exercise regularly and you eat right regularly, this will change. He said, he had the stats and the data. It will improve your whole capacity of your life through proper diet and exercise and being around the right people, around the right circles, getting the right support groups, getting, you know, inspired and motivated and lifted by people that have seen it and they know what can happen. We've seen it. We've dealt with sick people. And I told someone the other day, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because our lights are shining so bright that we are getting sicker and sicker people. They are coming to us with more ailments and more diseases and more cancer and stuff that you've never even heard of. They're coming into our facility, and guess what? We're helping them. We're helping them. Most places they come in, you go to 24-hour fitness, not to name any names, but you go in any big box gym or any other gym, you walk in and you see a list and it says, I have arthritis, I have cancer, I've got heart disease, I've got diabetes, I've got whatever. Those people are getting turned away. They don't want anything to do with them. We welcome them. We want you. Why? Because we can help you. And it all starts with every person on this screen looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I can do this. It's small. It starts with small little steps. So without further ado, I think Curtis ran off to the bathroom, but there he goes. I want to just say thank you all for being on tonight and say a little, put my partner on here, but I appreciate you all for being on. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
And then real quick, I want to invite Jody Watkinson to do a testimonial because she is one of our thrivers. And so we're going to let Jody do a testimonial and then we'll close. Dee, can you unmute Jody's mic?
Put me on the spot for the end here. My name is Jody. I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, June 28th, 2017. I went through 16 rounds of chemo over 20 weeks. Lumpectomy, 21 rounds of radiation, left me with neuropathy in my fingers and my feet, PTSD, which causes pain all over my body. I'm not on any medication because I was triple negative. It's just there. And about 6 months after that, I finally realized, and my doctor said I needed to get exercise. And at the Cancer Support Center, we have a calendar, and End Results was on there with a program. And I finally got enough courage to call up and met with Curtis, and he evaluated me and put me into Brenda's Wednesday group. And then I went on Saturday for the group. And I was just amazed at how weak I was and how I'd always exercised my entire life, but I was just fatigued. I hurt. My balance was off, and I was lifting, 3-pound weights. Fast forward, I realized my weights, I was increasingly had more energy. I had more stamina. I was increasing my weights. I didn't have to take ibuprofen twice a day to get through the day. I don't hurt as long as I'm exercising. I started training with Brenda, and she knows that the harder I work, the better I feel. So she incorporates pain into my workout, which stops the other pain. But I can't, and then finally I got to the point where I needed more, and Curtis told me to try the Thrivers program. And it just kicked my butts, even with all the modifications that Curtis gave me. But like Tara and Bernadette, they encouraged me to keep going, and I made me want to keep going. And quite frankly, these classes to me are like a group therapy, a support system. And I just feel incredibly better than I ever did with these. And I'm just so thankful that this program was there, and so thankful I was able to get in it, and so thankful that I can get up in the morning and not hobble around until I can get the ibuprofen down me. And that's what this program has done for me. And I can't say enough about Curtis and Dom and Brenda. Mud, it's a great place to go, because if you're standing there and your form is wrong, somebody will come up and help you and tell you, oh, this is what you should be doing, or hey, you can lift a little heavier weight, or hey, I think that weight's too heavy for you. And they come in, they help you, encourage you, and want the best for me. So again, thank you, Curtis and Dom, Brenda for the program, and it's just turned my life around with my everyday living. So thank you. That's it.
All right, you're welcome, Jody. Okay, so we're gonna close this Zoom meeting. Look forward to more in the near future, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll cover things like upper cross and lower cross syndrome. What are they exactly? Well, that just basically means that something needs to be corrected with your posture. And especially because we've been sitting at home for so long, a lot of people are starting to have back problems, upper back problems, lower back problems. There's a way to correct that. And in our next seminar, we'll be able to address those with you. But also, we'll post some exercises that you can do on our website. So Dominic, go ahead and close, and thank you all for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and you're a part of our family now, and we look forward to being able to work with you no matter where you're at. You got to unmute your mic.
I did it didn't work. It was like, hey. Now, thank you all again for joining us and for the mishap and hopping back on. We really do appreciate you. And like Curtis said, this is one of many. We've been talking about getting online and being able to be, accessible to the world for about 18 years. I think right when the internet first started. but it's our pleasure and our joy, because we really, like I said, the programs that we've created, these are programs that most will not even touch, because they want to work with the athletes. They want to work with the people that are perfectly, healthy. We're part of a group, and actually the industry caught up to what we've been doing. And there's actually a term that's called medical fitness. So we are transitioning into the medical fitness space, meaning working with people that aren't perfect. Anybody that has, any sort of either heart disease and on a medication, has heart disease, cancer, diabetes, anything other than up to about a 30-year-old falls into our category of medical fitness. And we look forward to, bringing you guys a lot of experts like Andrew into our platform and into our Zoom. So I'll be reaching out to the ones down here that I know, and the same thing, the ones that are listening to this and watching it on a replay, there'll be a lot more to come. And stay tuned, stay healthy, eat the rainbow, eat in moderation, and stay active. And above all, I think most people on here already know, pray. Okay? Pray and pray some more, because, he's listening. They're all listening. We're all interconnected. We're all energy. And, the more that we can vibrate a love vibration and a healing and a connectivity, the better we're going to be. So with that said, we'll see you guys next time.
Hey, Dominic, yes. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that put this together, because I feel the love and I feel the necessity for this. It's going to make a difference in my life. There's a lot that what you said, I've already been implementing, but there's so much more. I want to say thank you to the ladies, especially the ladies. I don't want to tear up, but you guys, you ladies are amazing. And it took a huge heart to get on Zoom and share your stories. And I thank you, because the word needs to spread. And what you guys are doing, I think you need to continue to do these Zooms and grow it so large. Women need to hear from you, and people in general, that NAP, I think. I want to look into that. I definitely feel everything. You guys just keep growing it, and I'm going to do what I can to spread the word, because people need this information, all of it. So thank you.
You're more than welcome. And just the fact, for me, I'm a one person. We touched and impacted one person tonight. I don't know, I'm good. I'll sleep well tonight. That's without this being shared to anybody else. So again, what we'd like to do is, once I get a recording of this, I'll share it out to the people on here that I know, and vice versa to the ones that are on here that you guys know. And I encourage you and call you out. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call myself out. Share this with at least 3 to 5 people that you know that it can impact. We all know 3 to 5 people that need to hear these testimonies, that need to hear that even the healthcare professionals struggle with diet and exercise. We're all in this together. Nobody gets out without being tested and without having to go through, the daily in your face of food. Okay. There's no addiction out there that you have to have, but people that are addicted to food, which is a lot. I mean, sugar is one of the most addictive substances on the planet. So you don't have to have drugs. You don't have to have alcohol. You don't have to have sex. You don't have to have whatever the people get addicted to. But food, you have to have it. So the fact that it's in our face all day long, you have to have ways to combat that and to get you back on track. Like Andrew said, is long ago, that it's the marathon. So again, we appreciate you all. Please share. Like, we'll share this Zoom with you guys. And Brenda, did you have something to say?
I just was going to add to our superheroes. Thank you. And you know who you are. We cross paths with many people who are dealing with lots of things, and many of us know how important fitness and nutrition have changed our lives. I'm one of them. But I want to say thank you to everyone who came on. We want to expand this. We want to grow. We want to share more. We want to all be the best that we can be. So I'm just going to leave us with this. Together, we can make healthy happen. So let's start off our day with that. Finish our night and start off our day with that. Together, we can make healthy happen.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. You guys have a beautiful night, and thank you so much. We'll see you next time.